Okay, so today what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sharing with you a trick that I've created myself. I've been working on it for quite a while, and I think I've got to a point where I really like where it's at. It's called inverse, and you'll see why it's called that as we get into it. So without further ado, let's get on with the performance. So most of the times, magicians do the tricks themselves. They never let the spectators. They let them pick a card, but they don't really let them do much else otherwise. This is why I'm actually splitting the deck in half right now. That's around about half. And what we're going to do is the magician and the spectator are both going to do the same thing. So it looks like they're splitting the labour, sort of. So it's more interactive for the spectator. So this pile, let's say this pile's mine, and this pile is the spectators. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start dealing down the cards one at a time, and you can shuffle them up if you like, and you deal them down. You don't have to deal them one at a time even, you can just deal them down in clumps. So they just mix up the cards into a giant mess of a pile, is square it up. And whilst the magician's doing that, oh, if I can square the cards up, that would be great, wouldn't it? There we go. Whilst the magician's doing that, the spectator's doing the same thing. So they are dealing the cards down, they can shuffle them up, they just deal them down. Just whenever they want to stop them, they just drop the rest of the pile on top, just until all of the cards have gone. Just like so. So there we go, we just messed up the two halves of the deck. And now what the magician's going to demonstrate is that he's going to give the cards a cut, and then mark where he cut the cards, and the spectator's going to do the same thing. So we've shuffled, we've cut, we've dealt the cards, and so far the trick's been pretty interactive. Now the spectator's going to select a card, and they've already actually done the selection process by cutting the deck, and the magician demonstrates that they're going to look at the card that they cut to, and then just place it back on top of the pack like so. And so they do the same thing, they look at their card. I'll look away for now. They remember their card, and then they place it back face down on top of their pile. I then say, right, we're going to move your pile away for now, just off to the side, because what we're going to do is, me as the magician needs to find out what your card is, but you're going to help with that as well, just to make it even more interactive. The way we're going to do this is we're going to select some cards from my half of the deck, and they're going to tell us information about your card. So, for example, if you were to point to this card, for example, we'll take that card out, and then if you were to point to that card, that'll be good. And then you point to another card, let's say, point to that one, and then let's say one more. Now if you have 4 spectators, then that's great. So you take out the cards that they pointed to, place them off to the side, and we'll remove the rest of the deck. We don't need the rest of the deck, we'll just place that off to the side with the other discarded pile. So as you can see, we've got 4 cards, and these 4 cards are going to tell me information about your card. So the first card, for example, might tell me the colour of your card. So it's either going to be red or black. So if we take a look at the card, it's a black card, so that must mean that your card is black, right? It is? Okay, cool. That is pretty cool. So if we know it's a black card, the suit is either going to be a club or a spade, so we'll just take a look at that for now. So this card's a club, so your card's a club as well, right? So it's a black clubs. So that's what we know so far. Let's try and find out the value, which is going to be slightly more difficult to find out because there's 13 of them. It might be wrong, we never know. Let's just take a look anyway. It's a 9, quite high value. Was your card a 9? It was a 9. That's good. So your card was black, it was a club, and it was a 9. So that would make it the 9 of clubs, right? The 9 of clubs. Which would be brilliant, because that must mean that this card is... A mistake has been made. This is not your card. Oh. I suppose that makes sense in a way, because it would be impossible for your card to be in this pile, because your card should be still in that pack over there. Which actually makes a lot more sense, because look at this. It says, how can this not be your card? Some question marks. A mistake has been made. This is not your card. How can this not be your card? See, I never even had your card, because your card is somewhere in that deck still. And like, if you don't believe me, we can actually go through all of the cards. In fact, the entire deck, every single card says something. Probably not your card. This is not your card. I am not your card. This is the 5 of spades. It's a poor disguise for the 5 of spades, to be honest. And there's your card, the 9 of clubs. In the entire deck of cards that are not your card. See, definitely not your card. The 9 of clubs is the only card that is your card. And that's actually a pretty cool way of identifying someone's card in an interactive way. We found out your card was the 9 of clubs. But to be honest, I lied to you. I knew your card was the 9 of clubs since the start. You probably don't believe me, but if we were to take a look at the 9 of clubs, if we turn it over, it is red, and it says, this is your card. So that's Inverse. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.